Again. Guess what this is?
Who's texting you?
It's no one. It's the internet. About this stupid ad for King Lear.
King Lear?
Some King Lear play. I don't know. William Shakespeare, it says.
Never heard of it.
Well, I'm looking at the reviews here, and they look pretty promising.
Yeah, well, all of William Shakespeare's stuff is kind of boring.
Okay, but this one, I don't know, it might be different. There's a lot of good plot, and you know what? It's going crazy over the internet. Everyone's loving it.
Well, you know what that means. Let's go see it!
William Shakespeare was born on April 23, 1564 in Stratford-upon-Avon. His parents were John Shakespeare and Mary Arden. Shakespeare's education as a child came from King Edward Grammar School, and he learned Latin and Greek while in attendance there. Once he turned 18, he married Anne Hathaway, who was years older than he was. A main reason to them getting married was due to her already being pregnant. Their first child together was named Susanna, who was born in 1583. They also had a second child named Judith. Shakespeare spent his life teaching and pursuing his want to act. In 1595, he joined the Lord Chamberlain's Company of Actors and soon created a committee to eventually build a new theater called the Globe. While pursuing this new chapter in his life, it has been proven that Shakespeare and his actors created plays based off of poetry, not playwriting. This makes sense considering Shakespeare wrote more than 30 plays during his lifetime. His poetry was known for the consistent theme of beauty and love. Specifically, King Lear was written around the time of 1603 to 1606. Many years and poems later, Shakespeare retired and resided in his home in Stratford. In 1616, Shakespeare passed away.
This play is about a king in Britain wanting to divide his powers between his three daughters, Cordelia, Regan, and Goneril. His plan is to give the largest piece of his kingdom to the daughter who shows him the most amount of love. In the play, King Lear is an obvious key leader of this play because he preludes the following events after the first scene. King Lear has three daughters, who are Goneril, Cordelia, and Regan. These three sisters set the tone for the play right off the bat and continue to create conflict in the rest of the play. Edmund is the son of the Earl of Gloucester and is the main antagonist of the play. Edgar is another character who is the brother of Edmund. The Earl of Kent is another important role. He is a servant of King Lear and is extremely loyal to the king. In the play, King Lear, we are going to be acting out Scene 1 from Act 1 of the play.
Meanwhile, we shall express our darker purpose. Give me the map there. Know that we have divided in three our kingdom, and 'tis our fast intent to shake all cares and business from our age, conferring them on younger strengths while we unburdened crawl toward death. Our son of Cornwall, and you are no less loving son of Albany. We have this hour a constant will to publish our daughter's several dowers, that future strife may we prevented now, the two greatest princesses, French and Burgundy, great rivals in our youngest daughter's love. Long in our court they have made their enormous sojourn, and here to be answered. Tell me, my daughters, since now we will have divested us both of rule, interest of territory, cares of state, which of you shall we say doth love us most? That we our largest bounty may extend, where nature doth, where merit challenge. Goneril, our eldest born, speak first.
Sir, I do love you more than words can wield the matter. Dearer than eyesight, space, and liberty, beyond what can be valued, rich and rare. No less than life with grace, wealth, beauty, and honor. As much as child e'er loved or father loved. A love that makes breath poor and speech unable. Beyond all manner of so much I love you.
Of all these bounds, even from this line to this, with shadowy forests and with champions riched, with plenteous rivers and wide-skirted meads, we make thee, lady, to thine and Albany's issue. Be this perpetual. What says our second daughter, our dearest Regan, wife of Cornwall? Speak.
Sir, I am made of that self-metal as my sister, and prize me at her worth.
In my true heart I find she names my very deed of love. Only she comes too short that I profess myself an enemy to all other joys, which the most precious square of sense possesses, and find I am alone, facilitate in your dear highness's love.
To thee and thine, hereditary ever, remain this ample third of our fair kingdom, no less in space, validity, and pleasure than that conferred on Goneril, but now our joy, although our last and least, to whose young love, the vines of France and milk of Burgundy, strive to be interest. What can you say to draw? A third more, opulent than your sisters? Speak.
Nothing, my lord.
Nothing?
Nothing.
How? Nothing will come of nothing. Speak again!
Unhappy that I am, I cannot heave my heart into my mouth. I love your majesty, according to my bond, no more nor less.
How, Cordelia? Mend your speech a little, lest you may mar your fortunes.
Good, my lord, you have begged me, bred me, I return those duties back as right are fit, obey you, love you, and most honor you. Why have my sisters husbands, if they say they love you all? Haply when I shall wed that lord, when I hand must take my plight shall carry. Half my love with him, half my care and duty. Sure, I shall never marry like my sisters, to love my father all.
But goes thy heart with this?
Aye, good my lord.
Let it be so, thy truth then by thy dower, for the sacred radiance of the sun, the mysteries of Hecate and the night, by all operation of the orbs, from whom he did exist and cease to be, here I disclaim all my paternal care, propinquity and property of blood, and as a stranger to my heart and to me, hold thee from this forever, the barbarous Scythian, or he that makes his generation messes. To gorge his appetite shall be bosom, but as well neighbored, pitied, and relieved as thou my sometime daughter.
The testing of love in the first act sets the tone for the rest of the play, which is very emotional and complicated. Lear's demanding for his daughter's love portrays his insecurity and need to be reassured that he is a man of importance. He is flattered by what Goneril and Regan have to say and is rather ashamed of his third daughter, Cordelia. Cordelia triggers a lot of tragic events to follow. There is a lot of scheming going on throughout to be the ones that will be in control of all of his land.
Lear disowns Cordelia completely and is very enraged. Lear's friend, the Earl Kent, tries to speak on Cordelia's behalf, and Lear becomes upset and banishes him from his kingdom.
In the meantime, the King of France asks for Cordelia's hand in marriage, and she accepts his proposal. Cordelia doesn't have a problem with leaving her sisters or the king because she knows she is doing the right thing. Even though Kent is banished by Lear, he is still trying to protect Lear from the evil powers of his remaining two daughters.
Kent creates an idea to disguise himself and takes a job as Lear's servant. After all of this has happened, Lear finally decides to give all of his remaining powers to his two daughters, Regan and Goneril.
Lear and his companions decide to live with each of his daughters a month at a time, starting with Goneril. Once visiting Goneril, she reveals her true self and treats him like the old man he is. Lear becomes insulted and decides to stay with his other daughter, Regan.
Once arriving at Regan's house, he realizes he is being betrayed by both daughters. Gloucester arrives at Regan's castle and hears that the two sisters are planning to murder the king. Once Kent is informed, Kent, Lear, and the fool leave to protect themselves. Regan and Goneril discover that Gloucester has warned Lear of their plans for murder, so in return, Cornwall, Regan's husband, gouges out Gloucester's eyes.
Regan and Goneril hear that Cordelia has produced an army of French troops, and the two sisters prepare to head to Dover to fight. At the same time, Lear hears that Cordelia is back in town and is hoping he can be reunited with his daughter. Gloucester, too, tries to make his way back to Dover and ends up finding his lost son, Edgar.
Cordelia and her two sisters engage in a battle, but there isn't much detail to this part as Lear sleeps through this event. Once he awakens, he finds out that Cordelia has been defeated by her two sisters.
Lear believes that this is a good thing because he thinks his two daughters, Regan and Goneril, will be jailed. Lear soon finds out that he is wrong and that Cordelia has an order for her death. Even though Goneril and Regan come out winning this battle, a mutual love still destroys them.
Goneril poisons Regan through jealousy of Gloucester's son Edmund. When Goneril discovers that Edmund has been killed by Edgar, Goneril kills herself as well. As Edmund is taking his last breaths, he orders the execution of Cordelia to be cancelled. His orders are too late as Cordelia has already been hung.
Lear finds her dead body and is full of grief and anger. Cordelia's death overcame him, and he falls asleep dead over the top of her body. For the truth of the remaining kingdom of King Lear, Kent declares that he will follow his master into the afterlife, and Edgar becomes the ruler of Britain. Betrayal plays a role in the play, showing the havoc between family and politics. There is a betrayal between the sisters, and even Edmund betrayed not only Edgar but also Gloucester. There is a lot of jealousy between the sisters over the battle of their father's love and land. Their jealousy leads to destruction and ultimately ends in death. There is also a theme of power. Lear discovers what it feels like to be a man that has power, and it ultimately, too, drives him to death. When the three sisters are given the opportunity to receive power, their perspective changes, and in the end, they choose the need for power over their own family. Love is prevalent throughout the play because it is the one thing that King Lear cares about most when it comes to giving away his power. He is determined to give his power away to the daughter who will claim to love him the most, even if they don't really mean it. We find that to come true in the beginning of the Shakespearean work.
Lastly, an important theme throughout the play is blindness. Not only is King Lear blind from being able to see that his daughters don't truly love him, but characters are actually suffering from being physically blind. When comparing Gloucester, who is blind, and King Lear, it is easy to see the parallel between the two. They both share similar characteristics even though they are completely different people. They suffer from the same problems even though they both cannot see it physically or not. King Lear, compared to some of William Shakespeare's other works, falls in the category of his more well-known tragedies. This play was one of the tragedies written from 1601 to 1608, alongside the very famous Hamlet, Othello, Macbeth, and Julius Caesar. Perhaps he was drowning in tragedy himself during this time period, and the mood of all of his works during that time reflected that. You know, Macy?
What?
If you were to ask me what my, ratings were on the movie we just saw,
Yeah.
I would probably give it like a solid 9.5 out of 10,
Honestly, that's what I was thinking too.
Like, out of all the Shakespeare type of films and, stories and poetry we read in school, with R.K. and Wenshaw and, Wilson throughout all my years, I gotta say, King Lear really surprised me.
Yeah, I really loved the mix of, the tragedy and the love and the torn between the
theme.
Oh,
yeah.
it was
God,
great.
It just got me hooked. So, I was just really stuck once, they had the whole King Lear needing to pick a sister, a daughter for the castle. I was like, what is he gonna do?
I know.
What would you do if you were in that situation?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
How do
I
you
was like,
pick?
come on, this is insane.
You see, the only thing that I really didn't like, though, is all the deaths. So many people died.
Yes.
Everyone was gone in the end. It's like, can you not save a character?
So who's gonna run the whole city now? No one?
Me.
Just okay. Sure. Perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm so glad we saw it.
I am too.
The internet really, there's a lot of false things on the internet, but the reviews that we read were right on.
Accurate.
Yep. So that's about it. I'm Rachel Ruff, back with TMZ, and you will not believe this. I'm in the building with King Lear. Everyone, let's welcome King Lear, everybody. All right, King Lear, I've got a few questions for you. Thank you for coming in. All right, starting off first. What should we ask him? I know. So, how does it feel to be the star actor in William Shakespeare's newest piece, King Lear?
It feels good. I'm very much rather. I'm ready to be done with this whole acting thing. It's not really my thing.
But you're doing amazing. It was an amazing piece. Everyone loved it. You were on the top of William Shakespeare's tragedies, the top of the list. Are you kidding me? Well, how does it feel?
It's truly an honor, but I've decided this will be my last work. Actually, and I'll no longer be coming back.
I was just gonna ask you, are you continuing your career, or are you just, throwing in the hat?
As you know, this is my last work. I'll be graduating from the stage and doing bigger and better things. I've already given up my kingdom, so there's not much to be done.
That makes complete sense, and you would know that if you saw or read the piece by William Shakespeare again. So, yeah, I think that's all we have for you here today, and you know what? Bring it. Thank you so much for coming in.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure. All right, see you guys next week on TMZ. I'm Rachel Ruff, and this is King Lear, everybody. Thank you.
And that's a wrap, folks. Peace out, College English, Block 1.